Hey, this is Mike Otranto. Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel. What is deed in lieu of foreclosure, sometimes abbreviated to deed in lieu? Deed in lieu of foreclosure is when a lender and borrower agree to the borrower deeding the property back to the lender upon default in exchange, basically to avoid the foreclosure process. Some of the advantages of a deed in lieu of foreclosure, both to the borrower and the lender, it will hasten the foreclosure process. It can end a delinquent loan. It can end the duration of a loan being delinquent. It could avoid the borrower doing vandalism or destroying the house. That does happen sometimes. The borrowers get so angry they steal all the copper and sell it and this and that. Now, the other thing, the other advantage of deed in lieu of foreclosure with regard to borrower and lender is that it's mainly to the borrower, but it lessens the impact of the default on the borrower's credit. So if a deed in lieu is done, it is far better to do a deed in lieu than have a foreclosure on your record. Now, that being said, why are banks so reluctant to do deed in lieu of foreclosure? Primarily, it's because when a bank repossesses a house in lieu of foreclosure, they repossess the house subject to any junior liens that are on the property. So if there is a first mortgage on the property, usually what we call 80-20 LTV, 80%, 20% loan to value ratio. So let's say bank number one loans 80% of the purchase price of our $100,000 house. Let's say bank two loans 20%. This was common during the mid-2000s. So you have a first mortgage of $80,000, a second mortgage of $20,000. Now, in a deed in lieu situation, the lender would take the property in lieu of foreclosure subject to that $20,000 junior lien. Now, the lender would have to basically pay that junior lien. In a foreclosure proceeding, all junior liens are extinguished by the process of foreclosure. So, once that foreclosure happens, that junior lien is extinguished, it's stamped out. The lender, the first lender in what they call first position, does not have to worry about paying that junior lien. Now, it is important to note that the borrower will still be liable for the debt on the junior lien once the property is foreclosed upon. The other thing to be taken into consideration is that once a property is foreclosed, by virtue of the promissory note and the personal guarantee, a borrower will be liable for all remaining debts on the property. A foreclosure proceeding really just protects the lender's interest in the property. So that's really the pros and the cons of deed in lieu of foreclosure. They do happen sometimes, from what I'm hearing from the calls that I get from owners of houses, from sellers, is that the bank, they say, well, in order to do a deed in lieu of foreclosure, we need X amount of documents, and months go by, and eventually they're denied for deed in lieu. It is an option. It is a good option. It's definitely a great option for a borrower as opposed to foreclosure. Do keep in mind that if you have second mortgages on the house or any other junior liens on the property, the bank is far less likely to do a deed in lieu of foreclosure. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing a series of these videos, great free information. There will be a link